Hello, are you ready for our last day of the 12 days of Christmas? I've had a lot of fun playing with all these stamp sets and sharing these ideas with you, so I hope you have enjoyed it too. Today we're going to use the Vintage Christmas stamp set, but before I show you that, I forgot to show you yesterday. This is the card or the stamp set that we played with yesterday, the Seal of Approval. It is on sale for $9.60. So that is a great deal for this adorable stamp set. And it's got grandson and granddaughter sentiment, so it doesn't have to be just Christmas. Anyway, I forgot to tell you that yesterday, so I wanted to be sure and tell you that today. Now, the stamp set we're playing with today is Vintage Christmas. So it's this set right here. It's not on sale, but it goes with the punch that is in the annual catalog. So there's a bottle punch. I'm grabbing it real quick. There's this bottle punch that is in the annual catalog, and it will punch out this bottle image right here. So this is a great way to get even more out of your supplies, your tools. And the product that I'm going to talk about today that's a great gift idea is the Stamparatus. So it is, let me bring it in. So it is a stamp positioning tool, and it has, it comes with 2 plates, which gives you 4 stamping surfaces. It comes with magnets. Do not let these magnets touch together. They'll kind of grab each other and they can break, but you can get replacement ones. And then if you're using photopolymer, there's also a foam piece that you can put underneath. And then there's grid paper that fits just inside of it, which is great because I will make a mark of where I want to put the paper that I'm using. If I'm doing a lot, then I can make a mark and put it right back there. So that's how I did all of this, is with the Stamparatus, because that is 3 different stamps. This is Poppy Parade, Soft Succulent, and Soft Suede. So it makes it very easy to do stamping like that, where you have multiple images that you want to stamp together. So here's my piece of paper. And like I said, I've already set this all up, and I'll kind of talk you through how I did it. Put that down a little bit. And we will start with our flowers. So I've already got it on our, oh, I meant to grab, let me grab it real quick so I can tell you something else about this tool. So when they debuted this tool for us at one of the on stages that I went to, they taught us about hinge stamping. So that is, you would set it up so it would be on the side, and that's how I did this. So you put your stamp on here, stamp it, take it off, put it down 1 slot, ink it. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. It has to go the other way. It can't go up to that corner. So you would stamp it, take it off, put it down 1 hinge, stamp, ink it, stamp it. And you could keep doing that. And then you can end up with these evenly spaced images. So that was something they showed us when they first told us about this tool. All right, so we're ready to start. So I've got my stamp on here. Grab my Poppy Parade. And you'll notice it does discolor your stamps, but that's okay. Now, if I was working in my normal space, I would put like a stamps case. So you would put a stamp case behind it, underneath of it, and that would give you the support. But since I'm kind of in a smaller space, I'm just hold it. And actually it's getting held by the shelves that are right next to it. Now the other wonderful thing about this tool is that if you didn't get, well, that one's stamped beautifully, but if it didn't get fully stamped like that, or if you're doing like the Scotty dogs that we used the other day and you want them to be a really deep black, then you could ink it up and stamp again and ink it up and stamp again, and it will go in the exact same spot. So that's really handy also. All right, let me put this red ink away. So what you would do if you were setting this up, you would figure out where you wanted your flowers. And in this case, I'm cutting it out, so it wasn't as critical as where it was on the paper. It's just that I had enough room for the other items around it. But you would figure out where you wanted the first image you were going to stamp, and you would set the stamp on your paper and then put the plate down on top of it and pick it up. And then when you get ready for your second image, then you would do the same thing. You would, position that stamp so that it would stamp in the right spot. Put your plate down, pick it up, and then the same thing with the third stamp. So that way you have it all set up. So I can now go make a bunch of these cards without having to line up each one. They'll all be lined up the same. So this is soft suede. So again, just ink it up. These are small stamps, so there we go. Do not move this. Do not move these. And then our last one, and I am going to clean, because I have them kind of on top of each other, I am going to clean this off. So when I go to stamp the next one, I'm not getting brown ink all over my fingers. All right, so now just take this off and flip it. And then we will do our soft succulent leaves, our greenery. Oops, see, it didn't stamp right there at the top. So I can just put it back down. And there we go. Beautiful. So now, if I have this same size piece of paper, then I can do this thing over and over again and end up with a beautifully stamped image like this every time. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. We'll fussy cut that. The other stamping we will do, let me grab my, so this is a great mat to have if you're doing photopolymer stamps. So this is a piece of crumb cake, and I will stamp the bottle on that in the soft suede. So the soft suede will be darker. And I'll stamp it towards this end because I know that's the way my punch is oriented. There we go. So if you're stamping for a punch the first time, just kind of turn it over and look, and your paper will slide in here so you know you need it to be at the bottom. Because if I'd stamped it up too far, then I wouldn't be able to put the paper up, far enough to get it. But this will be just fine. And there we go. Now we have our bottle. And then we need our Poppy Parade. I'll put it way over there. This I die cut with the Scalloped Contours dies. One of my favorite sets of dies. It just has these wonderful scalloped rectangles, and they're just great. So this says, "A very Merry Christmas to you." Now you could do this same card with different colors and different sentiment, and it wouldn't have to be a Christmas card. So we'll just stamp this down in the corner. Here we go. And before we start cutting and putting everything together, there's one more thing I want to show you. My numbers are, so this is the last day, so the stickum is not as sticky anymore. Oh, there is one other thing I want to show you. This is a piece of soft suede, and I use the wintry, and we've used these before, wintry embossing folders, so I used the pine branches. But this is a real narrow one, so it doesn't go across the whole card, so I just did it twice. And you can see there's a little gap there, but once you put the rest of this on there, nobody's going to notice that there's a tiny gap there. All right, before we start assembling, keep all our pieces over here so we don't lose them. I wanted to show you one other thing. Oh, did I ever even show you the stamp set? This is the Vintage Christmas, so it's got 2 bottles in it. Some nice sentiments, and then you've seen we've used those. This bottle does not have a punch. It's just the tall one that has a punch. All right. So this is my Poppy Parade blend, my dark Poppy Parade blend. But you can make embellishments to match anything that you're making. So I colored my rhinestones Poppy Parade so they would match. And I like to use the bullet end, because it's a firmer end and I don't run the risk of ruining it. So if I use the brush tip, it might make it kind of splayed out. And I just go over them several times. So now I have Poppy Parade rhinestones. Isn't that fun? All right, let's cut our flowers out. So we're doing fussy cutting 2 days in a row. Again, this is not hard to fussy cut. And like I told you yesterday, just leave a little border, especially on this one. You're not going to want to try and cut down in between all those leaves. And I'm moving my paper. Y'all heard this all yesterday, so I'm not going to talk about it much. So that Stamparatus is a fabulous tool. I've told you three ways to use it. I've shown you this way. So if you've got stamps that go together, it's great. It's great for like if you want to put a sentiment on and make sure it's straight every time, you can put it on the Stamparatus. And my friend Kay was on the group that was helping test it and design it, and I don't know exactly what all they did, but she was on the group that was helping get it all ready for us, and we were so excited when it came out because it is really a great tool. I actually, when it first came out, we were allowed to buy 2, and and it's been out several years now, I can't tell you exactly when it did come out. So I went ahead and bought 2 because I do classes, and I've used 2 in classes before. So that gives me even more plates that I can use. And another great tool, at least for me, and it would be for anybody that was making a bunch of one card. So if I had a stamp that has a die that goes with it. So like we used this in my class last week for the snowman. There's that snowman magic bundle. And if you wanted to stamp and die cut a bunch of snowmen, that would take a little bit of time. A way to speed it up is to stamp it once on a piece of paper, on a piece of cardstock. I don't know if I still have that template or not, because the stamp set is going away, so I may not have kept it. Oh, I do. All right, so what I'm talking about is you would stamp your snowman once. You would put it in the Stamparatus. You would make a mark. You would put that piece of paper in the Stamparatus. Put your stamp on there, stamp it, leave your stamp there. Take your paper out and die cut it. Then you would put it back in the Stamparatus in the same spot. And what that would allow you to do is to just die cut a bunch of just plain white shapes to put in here. So you die cut a bunch of snowmen, and with an outline image like that, you could do 2 at a time. So you could get a whole bunch die cut in a quick time. Then you put that already die cut snowman in this spot and stamp again, and then you have a perfectly stamped snowman. So that has been really handy for me in classes, especially, but anytime you're doing a bunch like that, it would really come in handy. All right, we are ready to put everything together now. So I have a basic white, thick basic white card base, and I cut it the other way so it opens up this way. It's kind of fun to do something like that every once in a while. So let's put our soft suede on there, and because it is embossed, I like to use my liquid glue with that. It just gets down in those little crevices better, and it will hold better. So our embossed soft suede, and just hold it for a minute till it grabs. Not a minute, but just, momentarily. And then this is soft seafoam. And again, because I'm putting it on an embossed piece, I'll use my liquid glue. And then our bottle, and I'm just using liquid glue because it's what's here. It is also flat. So I put him a little bit to the left side since we had our sentiment there. And then this is the reason I wanted to cut this out, because I like it to go over the lip of the bottle a little bit. But I want this on with dimensionals. I'll put some dimensionals on. Oh, I left one little piece there. We'll just use it too. There we go. That'll be plenty. This last one's being obstinate. There we go. And I added a bow. So this is the soft succulent, I think it's like sheer open weave ribbon, but it's really pretty. And it's very easy to tie. I like to tie it while it's still on the spool. It's really easy to tie when you're not on a video. We've talked about this before. Tying bows on video is always a challenge. And I don't want it to be too big. That one just a little bit smaller. There we go. And then the easiest way to attach that is with a glue dot. So just put a little glue dot on the back of your ribbon. And you can just set that right underneath the flowers. Isn't that pretty? But I decided it still needed some bling, so we'll bring back in our rhinestones that we colored. And we'll just put them around our flowers. I love that I can make embellishments like that to match whatever color my card is. So you could do that with any of the blends that we have. You could make black rhinestones. That would be fun. All right, that is it. We are done with the 12 days of Christmas. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed seeing everything that I created, and I hope you learned a few things along the way. All right, have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you later. Bye.